Have you ever felt suffocated by debt, unsure of where to turn or how to fix the situation? The feeling of seeing the bills pile up and not having a way to pay them is terrifying, and it may seem like there's no easy way out. But don't worry, you're not alone. In this video, we're going to dive into essential content for anyone looking to turn the tide. Robert Kiyosaki, author of the bestseller Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and his wife Kim, once faced a similar situation. They too felt trapped in a cycle of debt but managed to completely change their lives with a few simple yet powerful actions. If you want to stop living in fear of debt and start building a solid financial foundation, stay with us. Robert will share the strategies he and Kim used to get out of the red and start their journey toward true wealth. What you'll learn here could make the difference between continuing to struggle or finally taking control of your money and your future. Don't let debt continue stealing your peace and your dreams. You have the chance to change that now. Before we get started, I'd like to know if this topic caught your attention. If it did, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. It's super quick and makes a huge difference for us. We have a lot more motivational content full of tips to help you achieve a more prosperous and fulfilling life. Without further ado, let's get started. Imagine you're trying to clean your house, but instead of throwing the trash away, you shove it under the rug. At first, it seems like an easy solution, but over time, the rug gets so full of trash that you can't walk through the room anymore. That's more or less how debt works. Robert Kiyosaki shares that when he and his wife Kim started out, they had $800,000 in debt. He tried to hide from reality, pretending everything was fine. But here's the first crucial step. You need to stop pretending. You can't fix something if you don't admit it's broken. You know that moment when you look at the stack of bills and feel like giving up? We've all been there. But the truth is, to start resolving your debt, the first step is to be completely honest with yourself. Admitting that things aren't going well is essential. Only then can you begin to carve out a path to climb out of the hole. So, if you want to take the first step to improve your finances, stop for a second, take a deep breath, and face your debts head on. It's okay if the number seems overwhelming at first. The important thing is to know exactly where you stand. This is the starting point for any real change. Did you get this first step? It's essential to face the reality of debt. Now, let's move on to the second step, which is to stop sinking further by creating new debt. Let's dive deeper into this. Imagine you're in a race, but instead of running light, you're carrying a backpack full of stones. Every time you take on new debt, it's like adding another stone to the backpack. At first, it may seem like you can handle the weight, but as the race progresses, you get more tired, slower, until the weight of the stones prevents you from continuing. Robert Kiyosaki realized that to break free from the vicious debt cycle, he and Kim needed to stop filling the backpack. That's why stopping the creation of new debt is just as important as paying off the old ones. If you keep spending more than you can afford, you're always back at square one, or worse, sinking even deeper. Think with me, how many times have you gone through this scenario? You see an offer that seems irresistible, grab the credit card and tell yourself, oh, I'll pay for this next month. But then the next month arrives along with last month's bills. You end up rolling the debt from one card to another, accumulating interest without really solving the problem. This is exactly what Robert and Kim faced. They realized that for any strategy to work, they had to stop this cycle. And it's not easy. No one likes to give up comfort or instant gratification, but sometimes that's necessary to achieve something greater in the future. They went as far as living an extremely simple life, with practically no money, because they knew this temporary sacrifice was crucial for eventually living debt-free and in time achieving true financial freedom. When I say stop accumulating debt, it doesn't mean living a miserable life, but rather making more conscious choices. It's about stopping, thinking, and asking yourself, do I really need this right now? Or am I spending impulsively? Every decision matters. Sometimes a small expense may seem harmless, but when added up with others, it becomes a significant burden. Another common trap is easy credit. Nowadays, almost everyone offers credit and installment plans, and it seems like a magical solution, but it's an illusion. Robert explains that bad debt is the kind that brings no return, that just drains your money month after month. Using credit cards to buy things that don't generate value is like trying to fill a bucket with water while it has a hole. It just leaks out. The solution is simple but powerful. Stop the outflow. Close the doors to bad debt and start making smarter choices. It may mean delaying the purchase of a new phone, cutting back on expensive restaurant visits, or rethinking that financing deal you didn't need. These are small changes that, when combined, make a huge difference by the end of the month. So, if you truly want to change your relationship with money and get out of debt, start today. Take a close look at your expenses and see where you can cut back or reduce. This doesn't mean you'll never spend on what you enjoy again, but it does mean that, right now, you're focused on getting rid of that backpack full of stones. Once you've shed the weight, life's race will feel much lighter, and only then will you truly be able to enjoy your achievements with freedom. Now that you understand how stopping the accumulation of debt is like removing the stones from your backpack, you're starting to walk lighter. But to truly gain control over your financial situation, you need to know exactly what you're dealing with. And this is where the next step comes in. Make a list of all your debts. Imagine you're sailing out at sea. You know you need to reach an island on the other side, but without a map, you'll just keep going in circles, not knowing where you are or where to go. When it comes to debt, creating a complete list is like drawing the map that will guide you to financial freedom. Robert Kiyosaki shares that this was one of the hardest moments for him. He and Kim knew they owed a lot, but they didn't want to face the situation head-on. The idea of sitting down and listing each debt, one by one, was terrifying. And it's no wonder that many of us avoid doing this. Sometimes, just thinking about the size of the debt can trigger anxiety. But here's the truth. You can't fix a problem if you don't know the full extent of it. So, as Robert learned, the first step to tackling your debts is to put everything down on paper. It's no use listing only part of it or forgetting that small debt that seems insignificant. It's essential to list all of them. From that credit card bill to the loan you took from the bank or even the money you owe a friend, nothing can be left out. Does it sound like a lot of work? It might be, but it's a liberating process. Do you know why? Because when everything is scattered, you lose control. But when you see all your debts clearly, you start to feel like you have the power to make decisions. You can finally see where you need to focus, which debt can be paid off quickly, and which ones are the most concerning. Robert shares that when he finally sat down with Kim and made this list, he had to confront something he'd been avoiding for a long time: the real gravity of the situation. Kim looked at him and said, "Why didn't you tell me how much we owed?" Many times, we hide the problem from ourselves and others because it's hard to admit just how bad things are. But this is a crucial step in starting to climb out of the hole. After listing all your debts, the next step is to categorize them. You can write down who the creditors are, the total amount owed, the minimum monthly payment, and even the interest rate for each debt. This gives you a full picture, a kind of X-ray of your finances. With this clarity, you'll begin to realize that some debts can be paid off faster than you thought, while others will require more planning. Robert and Kim faced this reality and understood that each debt carried a different weight. For example, that credit card debt that seemed small but had high interest rates was draining more money than a larger debt with lower interest. By having everything listed and organized, you can start to see which debts can be tackled first, and this makes all the difference. If you're feeling overwhelmed, remember this. Listing your debts is not meant to scare you but to give you control. Once you see everything clearly, you can start crafting a plan. Every payment made will be a small victory, and the feeling of progress is what will motivate you to keep going. You'll move from just reacting to the problem to taking intentional action. So, are things starting to feel a bit clearer? It's like you're beginning to see the path ahead of you. Each step forward is a movement toward your freedom. And now that you have your list ready, we can move on to the next step: visualizing your progress and making it work in your favor. Great, now that you have your complete and organized debt list, you've already taken a huge step toward regaining control of your financial life. It's as if you've finally drawn the map for your journey. Now comes the next step: visualizing your progress. This will keep you motivated and help you stay on track. Think with me. Have you noticed how it's easier to continue a project when you can see the results? It's like dieting or working out at the gym. When you see that first change, whether in the mirror or on the scale, it gives you the energy to keep going. The same applies to your debts. Visualizing progress keeps you focused on what really matters. Robert Kiyosaki explains that in the beginning he and Kim had to find ways to stay motivated. The process of paying off debt can feel long and, at times, discouraging, especially when the debt is large. So, how do you keep your energy up along the way? The answer is, visualize your progress. This helps you see that even though the journey might be long, you're moving in the right direction. So, how can you do this practically? There are several ways. You can create a spreadsheet on your computer where you track all your debts and update the amounts as you pay them off. If you prefer something more visual, you can use a whiteboard at home or even a notebook where you draw a progress line. The key is to have a clear, simple way to see that your debts are decreasing over time. Every payment, no matter how small, is a victory and should be celebrated. Robert suggests that next to the name of each creditor, you should write down the total debt amount, how much you've paid, and how much is left. It's also useful to calculate how many months it will take to pay off each one based on the minimum payment. This way you can plan and see that with each passing month, you're closer to your goal. One technique that works very well is focusing on small victories first. This means starting by paying off the smallest debts. It might seem counterintuitive since many people believe you should focus on paying off high-interest debts first. However, psychologically, paying off a small debt quickly gives you a sense of progress and can motivate you to keep going. It's like giving that first little push to a snowball. Imagine the satisfaction of crossing a debt off your list. It boosts your confidence and shows you that you're capable of doing the same with the other debts. And that confidence is important because paying off debt isn't just about numbers, it's about mindset. Once you start seeing that you're in control, everything becomes easier. Robert shares that he and Kim made it a point to review this list regularly. They wanted to track every bit of progress and celebrate the small victories along the way. This kept their focus on the bigger goal, financial freedom. When you visualize your progress in a tangible way, it's easier to stay disciplined and determined. In addition, as you visualize your progress, you can adjust your plan. If something changes, like if you earn extra income or an unexpected expense comes up, you can revisit your strategy and adapt it to the new reality. This flexibility is crucial to ensure that you don't lose control along the way. So, to sum it up, create a way to visualize your debts and your progress. Whether it's a spreadsheet, a board, or a notebook, the important thing is that you can see your advancements and stay motivated. With each payment made, you're one step closer to getting out of debt and achieving the financial peace you desire. From now on, you already have a system in place to visualize your progress and celebrate each small victory. You're starting to gain momentum on your journey. But just visualizing what's happening isn't enough. You need a solid strategy to efficiently manage and eliminate those debts. And this brings us to the next step. The strategy Robert Kiyosaki proposes for dealing with debt while simultaneously building wealth is simple. Invest in assets. Assets are anything that generates passive income, meaning they put money in your pocket without requiring continuous effort. Examples of assets include rental properties, dividend-paying stocks, and even businesses that generate recurring profits. According to Kiyosaki, the common mistake many people make is focusing solely on paying off debts, without considering asset building. While you're paying down your debts, you should also start investing in assets that can generate positive cash flow. This cash flow can then be used to pay off debts faster and, in the long run, contribute to your financial independence. It's also important to understand the difference between bad debt and good debt. Bad debts are those that only drain your money, such as credit card debt or consumer loans. Good debts, on the other hand, are those used to acquire assets that generate more money than the cost of the debt itself, like financing a rental property. So, to get out of debt sustainably, the focus should be on investing in assets while managing your liabilities. Even though it may be slow at first, the income generated by these assets will help pay off debts faster and eventually allow you to build a solid financial foundation for the future. Are you enjoying this content? If you've made it this far, before we continue, leave a positive comment for yourself saying, "I will get my finances in order," and be the next person to achieve financial success. By applying all these tips and strategies shared by millionaire Kiyosaki, you can reach your goals. Now let's continue. You've visualized your debts and started thinking about how to invest in assets. Now it's time to put an efficient debt elimination strategy into action. Robert Kiyosaki suggests that it's important to prioritize your debts and establish the order in which you will pay them off. An effective approach is to list all your debts from the smallest to the largest in terms of total amount. Start by paying off the smallest debt, regardless of the interest rate. This may seem counterintuitive since many believe that debts with higher interest rates should be paid off first. However, the goal here is to generate small victories quickly. By eliminating the smallest debt, you'll feel an immediate sense of progress, which boosts your motivation to continue. Once you eliminate the first debt, you gain momentum and can direct the amount you were paying on it to the next debt on the list, creating what's known as the snowball effect. As you continue to pay off debts, the money available to tackle the next one grows, allowing you to move forward more quickly. Kiyosaki emphasizes that the key to this strategy is consistency and commitment. While the focus is on paying off the smallest debts first, it doesn't mean you should ignore the larger ones. They are also part of your repayment plan, but experiencing small victories keeps you motivated and confident that you're on the right path. In summary, to eliminate your debts efficiently, establish a clear order, prioritize the smallest ones, and use the momentum from each payoff to tackle the next. This method keeps you focused and determined to reach your ultimate goal of becoming debt-free. Now that you know how to prioritize your debts and start paying them off, it's time to focus on what will truly guarantee your success: discipline and dedication. No matter how good your plan is or how well you've organized your finances, without consistency, everything can fall apart. Robert Kiyosaki emphasizes that the journey to get out of debt and build wealth doesn't happen overnight. Like any other long-term goal, it requires patience and, most importantly, discipline. This means staying focused even when temptations to spend arise or when you encounter unexpected challenges. Financial discipline means continuing to make regular payments toward your debts according to the plan you've outlined, without diverting funds to unnecessary expenses. It also involves maintaining the habit of investing in assets to increase your cash flow and build a solid foundation for the future. Each month, even if progress seems slow, consistency is what will ensure that you keep moving forward. Dedication is what pushes you through even when the road feels tough. At first, it can be challenging to adjust your lifestyle and prioritize debt payments over other desires. But remember, each sacrifice made now is temporary and is bringing you closer to a life of greater freedom and financial peace. One of Kiyosaki's most important tips is to always stay focused on the bigger goal, which is to achieve financial independence. With each debt paid off and each investment made, you're one step closer to that goal. The key is to never lose sight of this purpose. In summary, discipline will keep you on the right path, while dedication will give you the strength to push through, even when things get tough. With these two qualities, along with a solid financial strategy, you'll be in control of your future. We've reached the final point in this journey of financial transformation. If you've followed all the steps up to this point, you now understand that there is no magic solution for getting out of debt and building wealth. It's a process that requires planning, focus, and, above all, commitment. Robert Kiyosaki has shown us that getting out of debt is more than just paying bills, it's a shift in mindset. You need to face the reality of your finances with honesty, stop accumulating bad debt, create a clear strategy to pay it off, and most importantly, start investing in income-generating assets. By visualizing your progress, prioritizing your debts, and maintaining discipline and dedication, you'll be paving the way to financial freedom. This is a journey that may seem difficult at first, but the reward is worth every sacrifice. The feeling of being in control of your money, free from the constant pressure of debt, is something that transforms not only your finances but your life as a whole. With focus and determination, you can achieve this freedom. Now, it's your turn to put these strategies into practice. Remember, every small step counts, and the most important thing is to never lose sight of your bigger goal. You've already taken the first step by seeking knowledge, and now it's just about continuing forward. And of course, if you enjoyed this content and want more valuable tips to improve your finances, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Let's walk together on this path to financial freedom.